Everyone see at the back?
Can't do
Does
it.
everyone hear me at the back? Yes! Yogi, yogi, yogi! Okay. First of all, I want to thank John for doing such a lovely speech for us. Oh yeah, Dad number 2. And also, Sean and I would like to thank you all for attending today in what has truly been a magnificent day. So thank you very much, everyone. We are really grateful that everyone is here today to celebrate this momentous day in both Sean and mine lives. The bridesmaids look stunning. And the best men, well, I guess they look okay too.
In their dresses.
Especially those skirts. So Sean actually said that the only reason why I wanted to wear a kilt is to compete with her in the dress area. Okay. So, as if I would do that, being a centre of attention and all that. So I want to give a toast to the best men and the bridesmaids. So, on a more serious note, despite being overwhelmed with joy in the prospects of starting my married life with my beautiful wife, I am also saddened by the absence of those that aren't able to share this amazing moment with us. So, I would like to have a toast to all the people who can't be here today, grandparents and who have passed and so forth. I'm also saddened by being unable to spend a day with some of our other friends who couldn't be able to make it here. And Cliff the chicken. So who had the chicken today? Look at poor Cliff. Give him the eyes, like, So on a personal note, I would like to extend my thanks to John and Sylvia, Darren and Wayne for welcoming me in the family and helping fund much of today's fun and festivities. So we really couldn't be able to do it without you guys. And now that we're absolutely skinned, we're going to be around a lot more for Sylvia's famous Sunday dinners. Thank you very much. So likewise, both Sean and I would like to thank both my mum and dad in everything they've done, both financially and morally, to help today be a real success.
Thank you.
It's the second wedding they funded in as many years. So, the best. So mum and dad, I'm not expecting much for Christmas. Parents, thank you very much. Without them we wouldn't be here. So, and finally, and I couldn't miss this one off, but I would like to extend my thanks to my beautiful wife. You've had to put up with my tantrums, panic attacks and dramas, but we finally made it through, and I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with you. So to all the members of my family that are here today, I would like you all to officially welcome Sean into our clan. As a family, we have a lot of traditions. Oh, come on! As a family, we have a lot of traditions and traits that anyone seeking membership has to uphold and endure. So I thought, to help Sean along a little, I'm going to share with you all today a few rules for the Siany family. Okay, so I call this the essential. Even before the days of mobile Okay, so I've built this thing called the Essential Siany Survival Strategy Guide. Okay, that's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so there's 10 rules in this survival strategy guide which Sean has to remember. Okay. Rule number 1: never take yourself too seriously. If you do this, you'll be the brunt of jokes and abuse until the end of time, especially whenever alcohol is involved. And let's be honest, with our family, alcohol is pretty much always involved. Rule number 2: turn everything into a drama. Whether it's something trivial, such as experiencing a little bit of turbulence on a plane to Egypt, or to something major like having your car stolen and set on fire because you still haven't learned to lock the front door. Make sure you emphasise all the pain and agony that the traumatic event has caused, and then try and repeat it as often as you can. Rule number 3: always make out your ailments are worse than everybody else's. Especially if it's concerning a bad back, flat feet, high blood pressure or high cholesterol. Common family traits that we all suffer from. However, I'm pretty sure I've got them worse than anybody else. In addition to the physical frailties of being a Siany, our genetic code usually results in us being a bit mad too. A mental illness of some sort will earn you a few extra points. Especially if your madness is worse than everybody else's. So again, I think I'm winning on that one. Number 5. Try to mention as much as possible that you can talk to the dead. You have seen lots of ghosts, or that you have psychic powers. This includes the belief that every animal could potentially be Nan reborn. Especially if the animal in question is a butterfly or a dolphin. If anyone challenges you, make sure you make it into a drama. Number 6: drooling. So whenever you eat in public, make sure you get food all over your mouth, and don't forget to let a little bit of drool outside the chin. Did anyone enjoy their meal? Yvonne! Rule number 7. If you're organising a social event, make sure it takes place at the Labour Club. And preferably, get me to DJ. I can see Dad twitching now at the pure mention of the word Labour Club. Don't worry, Dad, we can go for a pint tomorrow. You know that I plan to spend my first day of married life watching United beat City down the club. Now, Dad, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, well,
Saturday night at the Labour Club.
I know.
Number 8. Every Christmas or New Year party must end in someone falling into the Christmas tree. Yes, I'm looking at you, Uncle Colin. There's a massive Christmas tree in there, with Uncle Colin's name written all over it. Number 9. Be impulsive and late for everything. Sean, you know that big wedding folder you had to plan all this? Well, you might as well just throw it out. Planning gets you nowhere in this family. you want to learn more about this one, speak to Auntie Bobble. And finally, never, ever, ever get into a discussion about politics.
Why? What's wrong with it?
After a few beers. It'll turn into competition on who can wind up the other person more. So if Uncle Colin isn't too busy falling into the Christmas tree later on, you'll probably find him in a heated debate with Dad and Uncle Craig about the traffic in Shotton. So Sean, you do know it's too late to turn back now. Okay, moving swiftly on. So some of you might be wondering, how did a weird bloke from such a deranged family end up marrying a beautiful woman like Sean? Well, it began on June the 15th, 2005. I had just turned 21 and was out with my friends from work, celebrating by doing what I do best, eating a curry. So whilst enjoying my tower of poppadoms, extra garlic naan and veggie balsi, I spotted a blonde temptress with those beautiful eyes and an infectious smile enter the restaurant. I always knew it would be my destiny to meet the love of my life in a curry house. Anyone wondering, it's Asian fusion in Chester. Right? After convincing her to attend my 21st birthday barbecue, I spent the next few months setting to work on winning the young lady's heart. Ironically though, the harder I tried, the more Sean got to know me, the less she liked me. What was it you called me, Sean? Cocky? Arrogant? Who would have thought I was far from Sean's ideal man? A man with the sophistication of Roger Moore. The rugged good looks of Ewan McGregor. And the brawn and handiness of WWF's Triple H.
Nathan, that is you. It's actually only the 8th.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I still don't understand how it all adds up, Sean, sorry. But somehow, Sean decided to give me a chance. And look at her now, doomed to a life of servitude. Constantly supplying me with tea and biscuits whilst I sit on my arse playing FIFA and scratching my balls. Joking aside, not only does Sean possess all the physical attributes I look for in a woman, it was her personality that I was drawn to most. Despite her wicked sense of humour and eagerness to take the mick out of me as often as possible, I've returned the favour now to you, Sean is possibly the most caring and kind person I have ever met in my life. I've had a few very tough years, and I couldn't have got through the difficult times without her, sorry. Sorry. It's been very difficult for you. Sorry. Right, Rock, can you speak? Sorry.
Hey Nathan.
I can't continue.
You can do it.
I forgot you got to cry as often as you can.
It's just thread, teacher. Bring it
Keeping my barge to my Homer. The Lois to my Peter Griffin. The Francine to my Stan Smith. And the Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anna Cleves, Catherine Howard, and Catherine Parr to my Henry VIII. This one's for Tobias. Somehow she thinks I look like Henry VIII. I don't know how. So to end this very long speech, in royal fashion, I'm going to finish off with a little poem that I wrote about my stunning wife, called "This is a Wonderful Wife." Gotta stop crying now. Drawn. It was 7 years ago when I met my wife now, or my now wife, whilst eating a curry, having the time of my life. At first she was unsure, it was all a bit rocky, for she thought I was a knob, and said I was cocky. But after a while my charms turned the tide, but it wasn't that long before she was to become my bride. We went to Paris for a romantic weekend, looking for Jim Morrison's grave, to the wrong cemetery she did send. But when we got back, we returned to bad news. We'll start crying again now. That Nan was ill, and her life she shall lose. It was the first Siany event Sean was to attend, my Nana's funeral with all our family and friends. Then, about halfway through, I started to cry. Gulping for breath, I let out a sigh. You all looked around to where the noise came from, so I pointed and said, "It was poor Uncle Tom!" Tears were flooding as the occasion did warrant. Then you met her, my angel, and named her dear Florence. The years then did pass, and our relationship grew, living in Chester in a flat that was new. We travelled the world, watched geysers in Iceland, flown to New York, and saw Egypt's white sand. But it was only in Vegas where I decided to ask her, the Grand Canyon the place, to take it that one step further. In the morning it was dull, and it started to rain, thunder and lightning. But I'm still getting on that plane. Flying over the desert in our vehicle of doom, falling out of the sky, in my mind it did loom. But after a while, we were finally there, the worst flight of our lives, to say it was fair. And then came the time, so I did clock, to pull out the ring that I hid in a sock. And with a smile on her face, her response did wow, and that's why we are all here. And Sean, you're my wife.